it is inevitable that fans would want what is arguably the game console of a generation to go out with a bang. Following the stellar performances of first-party exclusives like The Last of Us Part 2 and God of War, it is now Sucker Punch Productions' turn at the bat with Ghost of Tsushima. Before we begin, if you haven't already, show us some love by subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Facebook, or visiting our website so you can stay updated on the latest geeky news and tidbits. An action-adventure epic that brings gamers back to Tsushima Island in the 1200s. It is against this backdrop that we are introduced to Jin Sakai, the culture of the samurai, and the unrelenting aggressiveness of the Mongol invaders. It is clear this is a force that the Japanese samurai has never encountered. Brutal, zealous, and most of all, willing to win at all costs. Such disdain for the traditions of honorable combat sets the stage for the rebirth of Jin Sakai as the titular Ghost of Tsushima if he is to win this war. This examination of duality is reflected throughout the 30 to 40 hour journey that takes you across Tsushima. From struggling to abandon his values, to fully embracing the gifts at his disposal, Jin Sakai evolves from one of the few remaining samurai into a whirlwind of destruction, fear, and intimidation. Aided on his journey by allies and hunted down at every corner by his enemies, the people of Tsushima do more than their fair share at being great characters. Jin Sakai's growth and development is driven by player agency, yet he remains his own person, growing out of naivety into one who can shoulder the heaviest of responsibilities. The people of Ghost of Tsushima help to tell a story that is captivating from start to end. Through them you will learn about how actions have far-reaching consequences, the need for sacrifice, and the extent to which people will go to just to survive the horrors of war. These constant reminders of working towards something bigger than oneself makes Ghost of Tsushima one of the most interesting narratives in 2020. Speaking of tales, there are plenty of activities you can get yourself into throughout the 3 large regions that make up Tsushima Island. While you can barrel through the main story content and work towards your revenge, this is a gigantic world rife with opportunities. Ghost of Tsushima eschews a traditional waypoint system that points you towards an objective. Rather, the world itself acts as a signpost, directing your attention at the nearest point of interest. Sure, you can drop a pin on the map and let the wind guide you, but pay attention and you will see plenty along the way. Smokestacks can mean a settlement in need of help. Flocks of birds will guide you towards a peaceful spot to compose a haiku, or stumble upon a mystical fox den that can lead you to an Inari shrine. There is simply so much to do and so much to see in this world. There are resources to collect in order to upgrade your gear, hidden collectibles that grant both rewards and lore, lighthouses to light, hot springs to enjoy, and bamboo strikes to complete. The rarer mythic tales speak of legends of old, which hide some of the best rewards in the game. It is highly recommended to get these done as soon as you can. Each of these side activities provides some gameplay bonuses should you seek them out, and will make your time in Ghost of Tsushima easier. However, you can also just ignore them and grind it out. The world is your oyster. And what a gorgeous oyster it turned out to be. Ghost of Tsushima is a strikingly beautiful game, and Sucker Punch has done a fantastic job at imbuing a sense of wonder and spirituality into almost every facet of the world. From the guiding wind to the wildlife that inhabits the island, there are many moments where you will just want to sit back and admire the scene before you. Galloping deer, rampaging bears, and wild boars can be seen going about their business. Spot a golden bird and follow it as it reveals the secrets of the island. The aforementioned foxes and flocks of birds have their own treasures to share, and the fireflies that light up the night are just wonderful. Add them to the lush greenery you'll find at every turn in Ghost of Tsushima, and it becomes a masterful painting come to life. This is one game that demands a photo mode, and thankfully, Sucker Punch has provided one with great features to help you capture these memorable moments. Of course, the bulk of Ghost of Tsushima is all about action. Taking back your island from the Mongols will require the spilling of blood, and there is plenty of that going around. The Mongols have taken over many important settlements, camps, and towns, and have roving patrols to keep the people in check. The fallout from the invasion has also led to the emergence of bandits and other ne'er-do-wells, taking advantage of the unrest and pillaging unprotected areas of the island. How appropriate then, to have most of these problems solved with a swing of the katana. As a trained samurai, Jin is no stranger to the blade. In fact, he is a formidable force. However, to master the blade, samurai are taught to control their emotions, tempered with patience and discipline. That is a lesson players must learn as well, for recklessness will cost you dearly. Observing your opponents and picking the right moments to strike with the right tool will keep you alive to fight another day. As the story depicts, it is often Jin going up against overwhelming numbers, and mastering how to fight is key to that. As you learn different stances to take on different kinds of foes, you'll be staggering them, delivering kicks, and taking full advantage of their mistakes. Technique points earned will help unlock more devastating attacks and defensive options that will even the playing field. Be it swordsmen, spearmen, hulking brutes, or shield carriers, they will stand little chance against a seasoned warrior. It is a marvel to behold as you take on groups of enemies that require different solutions, switching stances on the fly, and delivering the fatal blow to each of them. Swordplay is but one of your tools, as Jin also gains access to other useful equipment throughout his journey. Kunai can hurt enemies at a distance and open them up, while smoke bombs and sticky bombs can obscure and thin out the numbers. Ranged weapons also come into play, with Jin well versed in the art of archery. Defensively, Jin will also build out his arsenal with some truly grand armor. Every set that you will obtain comes with its own benefits, attained through upgrading. You will come a long way from donning broken equipment to transform into an imposing figure wearing awesome gear by the time you reach the conclusion of Ghost of Tsushima. For situations that require a more stealthy touch, the ghost side of Jin comes into play. Distractions in the form of firecrackers and wind chimes, assassination, and even poison are tools in this war against the Mongols. The more you can take out without drawing attention, the easier it is when Jin needs to emerge from the shadows. His ability to climb, swing, and blend into tall grass allows for Jin to approach situations in a multitude of ways. Rooftops and elevated positions will give you a better view, while Jin can rely on the focus hearing skill to review enemy positions before making your move. If you are master of combat, the stand-on mechanic will be your go-to. Approach enemies and proclaim your intention. Time it right and you'll be looking at instant kills in the coolest of fashion. However, you can also pick off enemies one by one, moving in from the periphery until there is none standing. It is entirely up to you. On occasions, Ghost of Tsushima will pit you against other experts of swordplay in duels. These pseudo-boss fights are a treat, requiring you to bring all your skills to the table in order to win. There are no tricks to be used in duels, only proper timing on both offensive and defensive fronts. They are satisfying to engage in, and a true expression of your might as a warrior. On the technical side of things, Ghost of Tsushima definitely has its ups and downs. Animations can sometimes glitch out, with Mongols getting flung high into the air by dead bears, or the hilt of Jin's katana poking out of his cape. There were some quests that failed to progress with missing NPCs and point of interest, but those were all fixable with a quick load of a checkpoint. However, the plus side is that Ghost of Tsushima has little to no loading at all. Even fast traveling from one point to another on the huge map takes only as much time as you will spend reading one of the many useful tips the devs have provided. It is simply amazing to see this in action, and with the upcoming PlayStation 5 set to surpass all that with its technology, this is a treat to savor for the current generation. The graphical fidelity of the environments is also amazing to look at as a whole. From the wind billowing through the leaves to falling foliage, most of Ghost of Tsushima can be captured and hung as a lovely piece of art. The Kurosawa Mode that gives the game the cinematic feel is extraordinary, but it is also a huge miss if you do not see the life and colour that went into this world. Music in Ghost of Tsushima also goes a long way in setting the mood. The crescendos that accompany a combat scenario and the soothing tones of more meditative sequences embody the spirit and core values of the game perfectly.
Fight me!
and the many moments of reflection afforded to players throughout their adventure will push you to examine your own life in contrast to Jin's. The entire experience of Ghost of Tsushima is one that will be enjoyed by most. Jin Sakai's tale of transforming into the ghost and pushing back the Mongols is an epic adventure that contains great storytelling, delightful combat, and interesting stealth mechanics. The game's reliance on emergent exploration is wonderfully realized, and provides plenty of incentive for players to explore an island that might just be a little too big. It is likely that comparisons will be made between Ghost of Tsushima and the later entries in the Assassin's Creed series. In fact, it can be argued that Ghost of Tsushima has everything great without some of the more niggling bits that hold back the Ubisoft titles. If you have been yearning for the Assassins to visit Japan, it has already been done and a new bar has been set. Even as fans await a new console, Ghost of Tsushima is here to remind us that this current generation is still going strong. Sucker Punch Productions have definitely made something fantastic, and a fitting swan song for one of the greatest consoles in history. A fitting PlayStation first-party exclusive to arrive for the PS4, Ghost of Tsushima is an epic adventure that has all the right ingredients for major success. For more details on Ghost of Tsushima and other video game news, check out the links in the description below. Until the next one, stay geeky.